Thanks for joining us for another episode of our Do-It-Yourself inspection series. Today, we're going to take you out to a mid-80s apartment complex. It's got vinyl siding, shingle roofs with no soffit overhangs. It's got clubhouses and carports. We'll see wood trim. We'll see a variety of issues. In this episode, we're going to be looking at roof venting. We're going to be in the parking lot, so walking around your building and looking for soffit venting and actually looking at roof venting, the turtle vents on your roof. And we'll be able to tell if your roof is getting adequate ventilation from the amount of vents or the dark staining coming around those vents on the roof. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Building Doctor Show with Jens Johansson.
We're looking at entryway soffits. And so I want to look for any obvious water staining, but in this soffit I'm seeing the texture delaminate or peel off. And so we can see on the 3 feet from the left-hand side here, you can see this bubble or tear, and it's right out at the edge. So water's coming down that siding and rolling around and getting in there and causing this material to delaminate. And so it hasn't stained yet. Maybe it's been recently painted, but we're already delaminating. And so that's a fairly common thing. You can just look up and say, yep, I got some problems here we need to address. Rough time. Okay, so again, using the weather to our advantage, we had a little snow last night. So it's a great time to look at the roofs. And so I'm going to look at roofs for snow melt off, and we're going to talk about it here for a second. So I'm looking at that far roof, and I see vents that are likely bath fan vents. And so bath fans are blowing out the hot, warm shower exhaust air. So that's why we have melting around the bath fan vents. So next, I can go around the chimney interface. And so I can see the snow is melted off where the roof meets the chimney. Why? Because the heat from the unit is against the chimney, and that's melting it off. Or maybe the insulation was done improperly, who knows. But I can start seeing that stuff starts making sense. I've got hot vents, hot chimney. Now, on this lower piece, I can see that lower ridge in the lower edge. That's called a smart vent. So since I don't have soffits again, I can't put in bird blocking or bird venting, those holes that you see drilled along. So I have to put a low vent or a smart vent as a manufacturer, so the air can come in low and then go out the roof ridge vent. So I know these areas of roof have been replaced, and I can look around and see other areas of roof that don't have them. You can look across here. I can see the low vents. That means these roofs were replaced at the same time. And so now I want to look at the other roofs to see how they're ventilating. So I'm looking at this roof in comparison over there. I don't see the lower smart vent or low side vent on these roofs. I do see a ridge vent sitting up high. So now I want to understand how it's venting, because I see a gutter and a fascia. I don't see any holes. So maybe there's vent holes behind the gutter. That'd be interesting, but I don't see any kind of low venting on this roof. So that's something I'd want to follow up with. Or in the manager's case, let's have a roofer come out and take a look at that. Or first, let's pop our head up inside the attics and see if we see signs of water intrusion on the bottom of the sheathing, just from being so kind of hot and sweaty and not ventilating in there. And so we can do a little bit more by going inside, looking up in, or hiring a roof consultant or roof expert to come take a peek at that. Okay, so now we're around back, and fairly typical soffit overhang. And so your roof has a soffit that overhangs and protects the siding. So in this instance, there's just a gutter on it. And what happens is inevitably the gutters fill up with these trees and leaves and things like that. And then they overflow and they hit the ground. So you get 2 feet of mud splatter all over your siding and over your columns. And you can walk around the building very quickly. I can see that building over there doesn't have that. So I can tell those buildings' gutters aren't clogged, but I can tell these gutters are clogged just from the mud. So take a look at the rest of the common areas in your property. So in this case, it's a clubhouse, and same kind of deal. It's had a little different makeover. It's got fiber cement siding instead of vinyl. Probably has the original aluminum framed windows with the grills. Remember that from 1992? That was really the style. But the windows look good. They have a good overhang. This is a soffit I'm talking about. I am concerned that pieces of the soffit are peeling off. They're falling off there a little bit. So that's a sign of water getting there. And we can kind of see some more over here. But, you know, tune that up, maybe put a piece of flashing, get the water dripping out away. You've got a good structure, protect it, repaint it. Hey, thanks for watching this episode. Hopefully you picked up some tips and tricks on how to identify and avoid water damage on your building. I know this was a great 80s looking building, but if you follow our channel, you'll see all sorts of different buildings where we look at stucco and other types of siding, brick, windows. Check it out. Thanks for watching.